Hey everybody, it's Darrell with our Back 40 broadcast, and I'm being a little quiet today because I'm actually out and about. And that's one of the cool things of living a Back 40 kind of lifestyle is you can be wherever. We were in Atlanta for a few days this past weekend. We got back. We just moved into our brand new condo that we've been speaking about, and we were out doing a really fun talk this morning. It was the first time Alexandra and I have ever spoken together for an organization called the Inside Edge. Great luminaries, lots of really great, smart people. It's where Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen met and created Chicken Soup for the Soul. So I'm out. I'm actually in a hotel lobby today, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. But I still wanted to come, as we do every week, with a nugget and a nudge. A nugget or a nudge to help you create your second half of life as your best half of life. And by the way, they did videotape our talk this morning, so we'll be putting that up online for you pretty soon as well. It gives a really great overview of what we're up to here. So we're here just to meet you right where you are, and we come from two premises with our work around the Back 40. First is that, as Frank Sinatra sings, the best is yet to come. And babe, won't it be fine? And also, as we really emphasized in front of a bunch of, again, people who've done a whole lot. These people that we spoke to this morning have done a whole lot of amazing things in their life. And we said it to them, and we'll say it to you. You have yet to do what you came here to do. And kudos for everything you've done so far. And guess what? There's something else in you. There's another contribution. There's something else to be given. So first off, I want to share something with you that I've shared for the last couple of weeks, but just in case you haven't seen it, we have a couple ebooks out right now, and that's what we're gonna be talking about is Endure Dance today. Endure runs or Endure dance. Yeah, I like to play on words. But we have two new ebooks on Kindle. First is Birth of the Back 40, which really gives the story of how this whole idea even came into being back in 2002, 2003. Crisis or Opportunity, which is a journal that I was the guest editor for. It was the oldest career journal, and I was asked to guest edit it a few years ago. And so there's some really great stories of people rising from the ashes, both with the stories are related to careers, they're related to relationships. I mean, all the quote stuff that you'll face in midlife, we call it midlife opportunity. We say it's your initiation into your second half, which will be your best half. Also, we did a great interview a couple weeks ago with Karen Glasser, spelled Caren, and she is the head of Spark It Network. And if you go to that link or go Google Spark It Network, you'll be able to see that interview. It was a whole lot of fun. She's amazing. Her whole purpose is supporting people in bringing passion into their life. So what we're going to talk about today is Endure Dance. Nice play on words. This is a quote from the finance minister of Indonesia. So when you hear it from that perspective, you go, oh, well, she's talking about a country. And whenever you're developing in a third world country, there's little by little improvements. And what's really most important is taking on the plan for long-term endurance. But I thought that quote was really relevant, and I put out my regular jolt note today at 10 a.m. this morning. Make sure you go to theback40.com, sign up to receive our weekly inspirational newsletter, and also you can get your top 10 tips for a radical second half there. But what I wanted to offer today as a nugget or a nudge is that if you subscribe to what we are promoting, which basically says you have yet to do what you came here to do, then that means there's going to be more initiatives coming. There's going to be more new ideas. There's going to be new projects, maybe new relationships. Maybe at 65 or 70, you're actually willing to believe that your soulmate is out there. And you're going to give up all the ideas of the way you know men are, or the way women are, or the way relationships are, and the way dating is. And, maybe you're going to go start playing. That's what we're really advocate for us in our 40s, as well as those in our 60s, 70s, and 80s, is we advocate this idea of playing and getting outside of what we think we know to actually start experimenting again. That's kind of what 21-year-olds do and kids do, is they experiment and they play, and they're not worried about whether they're going to fail or not, or whether they're going to look good or not, or whether they're going to get hurt. So part of fulfilling on this second half being the best half is developing a new relationship with taking initiatives and getting out there and playing. And what I want to offer is that it will also require a new relationship with endurance, with taking on projects. Because so many of us could say, well, I did this and I did that, and oh, that was a long haul, and blah, 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 blah. I'll personally say that, in looking at the first half, projects or initiatives took place by willpower and just powering through. And as we have grown, or as we can grow in our consciousness and our awareness of that which is beyond just plain willpower, there's ways that growth can take place and happen more sustainably, more peacefully, more enjoyably. And if we are going to take on, because to be honest with you, when I was speaking to some of these people today, they've done really well, okay, and they live on golf courses and country clubs and things like that. And when I'm talking about, you have yet to do what you came here to do, my sneaking suspicion is some of them are like, I'll go have my Mai Tai on the beach. And regardless of what you have accomplished, what if the biggest thing is still in there? But yet, sometimes if we relate to projects or initiatives or new relationships from an old point of view of how hard it's going to be, or it's difficult, or I've done that, and so I want to start a new relationship with endurance, a new relationship with how we move forward. And so here's a couple thoughts that I want to bring up, and again, we're going to kind of keep it short today, but a few thoughts that I thought are worth considering is, let's see, okay, this is the wrong slide. So let me get to the right slide here. Hold on one second. That happens when you're in this dance called going straight from a talk to, let's see here, hold on. Here we are. Okay, cool. And you're doing it from a hotel lobby. So here's the thing, any new initiative, project, or relationship, any grand scheme that you're up to right now is going to require time. It's going to require time to unfold. The first step is just get started. Now that's a big first step, and especially as people move into their second half, if they've, one of the things we said this morning when we spoke to this group, which is really true, I've heard ministers say that their job is to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable, because our message speaks to midlifers who maybe feel that they haven't necessarily made it yet or fulfilled on what their potential is. But we also want to afflict the comfortable, because if someone is living on the golf course and if they are experiencing the toys and the fruits of really good work, they have talents and there's stuff in there that can still make such a contribution in this world. And so what we are standing for is that none of us have done what we came here to do. That's fine to keep enjoying the Mai Tais on the beach, because we're going to do that too. That's part of what our Back 40 includes. And yet we have a vision or an idea that what if we're contributing big and playing big games until we leave this earthly form. So anyhow, get started. And a lot of times people later in life don't get started for all the reasons of they don't think they know how to get started, or they're afraid of failure, and all of this. It kind of keeps us risk averse. 5-year-olds aren't risk averse when they go play in the yard, and 22-year-olds aren't risk averse when they get out into their careers. At least I hope not. I hope we haven't passed that down to them. So, there's this great article, by the way, in the Daily Mail, which talks about mammals being on the rise, and that's middle-aged men in lycra. So what that is speaking to is that sometimes men get into their 40s or 50s and they go to the doctor and they find out, you know what, you better get fit because your body's not doing that well. And then they go completely overboard and just take on such intense training sometimes that it actually can hurt them. They actually say that, without building over time, taking on something like, head over heels, especially when it comes to fitness, can be damaging. So we are saying get started, but we're also saying let's think about endurance. Let's plan over the long haul. We call the long growth haul. And we say that one of the things that is generally missing around any new project initiative is a certain amount of self-compassion and always learning attitude, because people will get started with things, and guess what, when you get started, it's going to be messy. You may be what we call playing ugly for a little while there, but to take on endurance over the long haul, if you're always learning, then what are you losing by continuing to move forward into something that you're passionate about? A project, an idea, a new hobby, a business that you want to build at 76. So this is part of what we're offering as a new relationship with endurance. We call it the Endure Dance. And with my coaching clients, both in the Back 40 and other work that I do with people, I say that to the degree that you want to grow and you really want to break out and achieve whatever it is that turns you on, where your passion is, you have to have an equal amount of forgiveness, an equal amount of self-compassion. Because if you want to grow like this, but your compassion level is only right here, it's going to be the weight, it's the ballast that's holding you down. But to the degree that we can take on the dance of endurance, where we're making sure that we keep our intentions for growth equal to our ability to champion ourselves and have compassion for ourselves. So here's our thoughts for this week to moving forward is, what are the areas of initiative? What are some areas of initiative that you could take on around your big game Back 40 playground? Is it around work? Is it around relationships? I mean, are you willing to give up what you know about the way relationships are and actually find that soulmate? Is it around health and fitness? And again, good to take on getting your body in shape and taking it on with an idea for the long growth haul. Is it around your finances? Is it around your ambitions? And as we always say, get a buddy. You want to get outside of your mind. Yes, you literally want to be out of your mind And so make sure you're playing this with somebody, because you're going to take more actions and do more in terms of forward movement when you have support. Determine 1 to 2 areas of initiative to take some forward movement this week. Write out up front the challenges that you're going to face, both the external ones as well as the internal ones. What your mind going to say when it tells you that, boy, you sure look silly, boy, you sure don't know what you're doing, or man, I hate it whenever I get out there and don't know what I'm doing, and what people are going to think. All those kind of things, just write them all out. And also write out all the ways you're going to dance with compassion during that growth. Like, what are you going to tell yourself, or what are you going to have your buddy tell you? And as always, buddy up, follow up with your buddy, and share. And if we really take this on, I say there's movement that can take place for all of us this week. Post and say what you see on the Facebook community, the Back 40. And here's a great quote that I like as well. This is our Cold War diplomat. But, if heroism is endurance for one moment more, I wonder what that next moment is. And is it willpower? Is it effort? Or is it a certain amount of compassion that supports playing big? So that's what we have to offer for you today. I want to give thanks to the Hilton, because they are just the best hotel chain. They have internet in the lobby, and we've been staying at them recently, and it's just great. So that's a little plug, non-sponsored for Hilton. But we look forward to seeing you again next week. Make sure you go to theback40.com, get your top 10 tips, look at our blog, some really great stories happening there. And we'll be posting our talk from this morning on the site as well very soon. So go have a radical second half, best half week, and we will see you again next week.